It's that time of year. Excuse me, sorry. Fortunately, my throat is still scratchy. It's that time of year, though, when you start thinking about your plans and your goals for next year, whether it's your more personal goals or all the goals that we as readers set, which is, so I'm going to talk about my goals for next year. And I'm going to try to get this done quickly because as soon as my dad gets home, we're going to do a little bit more Christmas shopping while my mom is out of town. So first I'm going to talk about the goals that you guys probably aren't as interested in, but I want to talk about all my goals on this video. But if you are, that's great. I appreciate it. But don't worry, I will be talking about my reading goals. I just want to talk about these as well. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about my more just personal goals, which are I want to get, and this was a goal that I last year. Like a lot of these goals are just goals that are transitioning into this year from last year. And that is, once again, I'm going to try to get into the habit of being better at cleaning my room, especially my bathroom. Because my mom, again, yesterday, my cousin, she's my mom's first cousin, so she's my second cousin, was coming to visit because she also lives in North Carolina. So it's not far for her to drive here for a quick visit. And so my mom was once again telling me, we might show her your room, so you need to clean up. And, me being the lazy person I am, I was kind of annoyed. I was like, I already cleaned it, mostly. So, I am aware that I need to get better into better habit of cleaning my room, especially my bathroom. It's just I get lazy. And I'm like, okay, people just come here to look at it for a few minutes, and then maybe my extended family will stay in my room because my room is one of the biggest rooms in the house. And then my friends. So I'm like thinking, it's my space. I like it the way it is. But my mom does have a point. It's all she asks of me to do. And, I do vacuum. I am better. I vacuum, like, I wouldn't exactly say regularly, but I do vacuum. But like, especially with my bathtub, cleaning my bathtub, not that, and don't be like all grossed out and think my bathtub and my bathroom are really, it's not like really bad. It's just like, I'll get, you know, but yeah, with the like because I feel like I have to, like, right before I get in the shower to take a shower, I feel like then I have to, that's when I need to clean it because I'm gonna turn on the water anyway a few minutes, right? So why not just wait until, but then, it's like as soon as my priority is I want to get in there and get and clean myself up and everything. So that's one of my goals, is to get into a better habit of cleaning my space. And then the other one, more personal goal, is just get better at being organized. I'm always trying to improve my organization and picking up more organizational habits. Because I'm one of those people who, I'm fine with clutter on my desk, you know? I'm like, it doesn't bother me. I mean, sometimes it is, I am one of those people though that, like, if overly worried about, excessively worried about something, or like freaking out or having anxiety about something, and I can't sleep and everything, then I'll get up in the middle of the night and put away some stuff. But I'm not really into, like, even, I'm not big into whole clean up the clutter. I mean, I might move it out of the way, and maybe there won't, but it doesn't bother me. But I do want to get better at that, and I want to get better at updating, I like getting calendars and weekly planners. So I want to get better at working on those too, because I don't always update those. I don't always put, like, if I have a class or work, because my life is kind of boring, I'm done with school, although I've been, like, the school semester, I did take a class, but I'm not a student, and this class doesn't even, I got a notification that the class didn't even count for credit. but I wanted to take it anyway, so, I mean, and we paid for it, so I took it. And it was fun. I mean, I didn't like every book that we read, but it was fun. And I have a permanent job. So I can write those times down, and I'm thinking that next semester, and it's probably already too late. I mean, maybe it's not, but it might be it's probably too late for me to sign up anyway. And I'm thinking, okay, the problem with me signing up for class, well, it takes away my time to just go up and go for like visit family for the weekend because I would have class on Fridays. And like even if I didn't work, I still couldn't go except for right after class. And my mom wouldn't like leaving on Thursday, so we have a good long weekend. So I'm thinking, I mean, although I did try to look for classes that were on a Thursday or only once a week, but I think I might not take one and then take another one, but maybe take one in the fall semester of next year. I don't know, but I'm not going to take one this winter. But and I even, because I have a corkboard in my room, so I just came to the realization, wait, I can put a calendar on the corkboard. Because for the longest time, I was getting like those desk calendars. And, I mean, there's only so much space you can put on those. And because, as I just said, I don't care about clutter. So I don't always it's not as in viewing sight when I get a desk calendar. And I just, and then I remembered that I have the corkboard, so I could put the calendar on there. And my mom, with her, I don't know if she gets it from work or from some other source, but she does get calendars in the mail. So I think when she gets her calendar, I mentioned to her about it, and she said, would you be okay with getting a calendar with I hate that it's so annoying. I still have my cough. My nose is a tiny bit still congested. Because I have my cough, my throat is still scratchy, so it's hard, carry on a conversation or when I go to work. I'm trying so hard not to cough, not to have to turn and cough. And, I'm trying to talk to people, and then it makes it hard for me to talk because, like, I feel that tickle in my throat, but I'm not actually gonna cough. But, anyway, so I want to get a wall calendar that I'll just stick it on my corkboard. And I want to do the whole Xing off because I did do that when I was a kid. I used to do that because it was like, oh, it's so cool. I can X off the dates and keep track of the dates and stuff. And plus, you forget, I sometimes will, because it's been so long since I've been to school. And I just have my job now, so I don't keep track of the days anymore. Sometimes I have to think about it. It's like, okay, what's today? So those are more personal goals, and the two that I want to work on the most. And also that's also part of reading, like keeping organized with with the reading as well, like making sure I update whatever bullet journal I have, because I want to try that again, because I did start one this year and it kind of fell apart, the whole bullet journal thing. So I want to try that again next year, but I want to get a different journal. I actually, on my Amazon wishlist, there was a collection of journals and that you could order. So I put that on my Amazon wishlist. I don't know if my mom's gonna get them for me or my sister, because they're always like, my mom's always like, you have way too many journals. You don't need another journal. But so in a way, the organization kind of applies to reading as well. Now, my writing goal is one that I got from a customer at work. I was engaging him in conversation, we were talking, and somehow it got brought up, of course, what I want to do in my life, what kind of job I want to have, what kind of career I want, and I said I'm always hesitant to say that I want to be a writer/author, because I feel like sometimes I wonder if people would be like, wow, that's a really hard profession to get into. There's no guarantee you'll succeed at that. I mean, although it's kind of interesting that, even though I think that is true, There's books like 50 Shades of Grey, which started out as a fan fiction that got published and then became a movie franchise. It's like, no disrespect to E.L. James, but it's so funny that you're thinking, well, and some people, I hate to say it, but some people are saying that, I hate to say it because I feel bad for the author. I never read the book and I have no interest in the book. But, so it's more I feel bad for the author, but, because, she still, even though it's, despite what it is, she did work hard she did work hard. People might disagree, but I feel like she still put in the effort and wrote this herself. So I kind of feel bad for her, but if she can do it, a lot of people think she can do it, then anyone could do it. But anyway, back to the goal. So the customer had suggested to me, well, why don't you for a month, because it takes a month to get into a habit of something. He said, well, try writing for 15 to 30 minutes every day. So I want to try that. I was thinking about doing it this month, but then I kind of fell through. Because there are all the Christmas specials, like movies and stuff are on, so I get sidetracked by that. And then there's shopping I want to do. And so it was kind of, so I already felt at that, but I could start it, I could save it. Since it originally was a goal, I could just go ahead and save it for next month. So I would feel a little less bad. So really that's all. I just want to get into the habit of writing for at least 15 to 30 minutes every day. And I want to one day get past the pre-planning stage, because I have the ideas, and sometimes I do write I get inspired to write, so I have write these little blurbs and excerpts and stuff, and I have so many different versions of what chapter 2 could be. And I have the ideas, it's just the execution that I struggle with, because then I get distracted, and then by the time I'm like, okay, I need to write, I need to focus and actually sit down and write, then I'm like, I'm not in a good place to write. And I know you should still try to write, no matter what, because you can't just wait for inspiration to hit you. But it's just, I get cranky, I'm tired, I'm irritable, and I can't concentrate, and I don't have anything to write. I don't have any sentences formed. I just have maybe an idea. So I feel like I can't just write. I'm not one of those, and I would just get angry as I'm writing. If I attempted to write, I would just get pissed off and be like, this is stupid. And I know they probably say, well, just put pen to paper or pencil to paper and just start writing something and don't think about what you're writing. But maybe I could do that, but there's just times I'm not in a good place to attempt to try to write. I get, like I said, I'm irritable and cranky and frustrated. Like this week I've had a few moments where I'm feeling that way. It's not a good place for me to be right now, for me to write during those times. So that's really all I have for my writing goals. I just one big goal, which is to try to write every day and write for 15 to 30 minutes, and then eventually I'll get into the habit of writing on a regular basis. And I won't have to feel guilty and be like, and to admit that, okay, this is technically my own fault, and I can't blame anyone else but myself. I'm the one who chooses to let myself get distracted. And I end up feeling guilty because I'll watch people talking about, like, Jenna Moreci is one of my favorites that I like to watch. I wouldn't say she's a booktube channel, because she doesn't just talk about books, she talks about writing, and she's an author. So it's an author tube channel. And every time I watch her videos, they're so entertaining, but at the same time, she makes me feel guilty. Now, I'm not getting on her, I love her, and I'm not like blaming her or being like, well, it's her fault. It's not like that. As in, because I'm watching her videos, I'm like, I know it's my own fault, and I'm the one who's making these choices, and I know you're right, and I hate that you're right, but I know you're right, kind of reaction. Not me getting mad at her or saying, oh, it's your fault, kind of attitude. It's just, I know that she's right, and I hate it because, and I have no one to blame but myself. So that's just my writing. Those are my writing goals. Now on to the goals you guys probably are more interested. The reason that you're watching my channel. Okay, so like I said, my goals are basically the same as last year's goals. Mostly, there are some differences. Like, let me go ahead and talk about something that it's kind of, the goals are kind of like goals that don't necessarily, they're to help me with my reading. And because one of my main overall goal is to once again continue to focus more on my reading and prioritize my reading. Because I'm one of those people that does watch movies and TV shows and surf on the internet, especially watching BookTube and going on Facebook. I'm one of those people who enjoys that. I enjoy watching a movie or watching a TV show just as much as I enjoy reading a book. And yes, I do feel like I do kind of prioritize it a little too much. But at the same time, I feel defensive when people are like, I don't understand how you can prefer watching a movie or a TV show over reading a good book. It's like, yes, on the one hand, I agree, but on the other hand, I don't agree. Like, yes, I understand the values, and oftentimes books are better. Not always. I don't think that's always the case. But oftentimes, and you can get just as lost in a book. I mean, I am passionate about reading. I love reading. But I also enjoy watching a good movie or a TV show. And sometimes it's easier. I'm sorry, maybe this is blasphemous for me to say, but I think it is easier to sit down and put a DVD or a Blu-ray disc in, or turn on the TV and watch a show, because it simplifies matters. You don't, and yes, you're not exercising your own imagination. It's someone else's ideas. But it's easy, it helps you understand, especially if it's like a book that because not everybody can get into a book of classics. Not everybody can follow along with the classics. Like, not everybody can read Shakespeare, because Shakespeare it's a different type of writing compared to the modern audience, what modern audience readers are used to. The language, it feels like a foreign language, even though it's not. It's still written in English. And I know I'll probably get a lot of flack for this, but I would prefer to watch Lord of the Rings, the movies, or the TV series that they're talking about making. I think it's a Netflix show, or I don't know, over reading the books, because I am sorry, God forbid, but I tried to read Fellowship. I tried to start it, but I couldn't get into it. I'm sorry, I know you guys may not agree or believe it or anything, but maybe I'm just dumb and I can't understand it. I mean, it's true. It's not as complicated as it's not as different as Shakespeare. It's not like an epic poem, like Beowulf and stuff. Which I'm so relieved I can officially say that I read Beowulf and Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. I actually read it, and I can say I read the Canterbury Tales. Most of Canterbury Tales. I never read the whole thing. But I feel proud that I can say that I actually read it. And, and it helped talking about it with the class. It really helped, because it is a very different style of writing. And yes, I know some people will be like, but it's still written in English. But I'm sorry, not everybody can read, the old English stories, It does help though when it's translated into modern English and not the old English. It helps a lot to make it a little easier. I'm definitely having an easier time on Hamlet. And I would recommend getting the Signet Classics for when you're reading Shakespeare. So I would rather go see the Lord of the Rings movie. I did read The Hobbit, and I liked The Hobbit. I really enjoyed that. But that was originally meant for kids anyway. So the writing was a little different. And I know a lot of people would think, which, by the way, in the case of Lord of the Rings, I think it is so stupid and unfair to be like, how can you call yourself a fantasy fan if you've never read Lord of the Rings? It's like, people can read just because if they read fantasy, they're fantasy readers. If they read what is in the fantasy genre, they're fantasy readers. Even if they have never read Lord of the Rings, that's stupid. Yes, Lord of the Rings is the grandfather of fantasy. Tolkien is the grandfather of fantasy. Lord of the Rings was the one who inspires a lot of adult fantasy today. Yes, that is true. And it's awesome. It's amazing if you can read that book. But not everybody can get into Lord of the Rings, and it's so unfair and so judgmental if you're gonna be like, oh, you have to read Lord of the Rings, or you're not a fantasy fan. There is no rule. There is no law. It's not a rule that you have to read Lord of the Rings to be considered a fantasy fan. Yes, it's the one who started all, but it's ridiculous and so unfair and so judgmental, and I shouldn't have to feel bad or feel like I have to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy just to prove I'm a fantasy fan. I know I'm a fantasy fan. I know I read fantasy. I love fantasy. I am a fantasy fan, even if I don't read Lord of the Rings. To me, that's just messed up. That you're all like, that there are people out there who are like, how can you consider yourself a fantasy fan if you're Lord of the Rings, if you have never read Lord of the Rings? I mean, I've watched the movies, but apparently that's not good enough because, yes, it's true, books are better, oftentimes, but as I said a few minutes ago, I don't think that's always the case. I mean, like, I found it easier to read, and I did read both Dracula and Les Mis, but I was more interested in the movies than I was. To me, it's book snobbery if you are like, oh, you have to read Lord of the Rings to be a fantasy fan. That's just book snobbery to me, and it's not right. So, sorry, that was a whole, that's something that I get really hot-headed about when hearing that people will accuse you of not being a fantasy fan because you haven't read Lord of the Rings. Like you haven't actually read the book. With that being said, I keep thinking about maybe checking out the audiobook version, if there's an audiobook version of it. Okay, so with all that being out there, let me get to my main point of that, which is that I do want to prioritize books a little bit more. So I'm going to lessen my time. I want to continue to, when I can, take the opportunity to actually read a book instead of sitting in front of the TV or getting on here. So I want to lessen my time on Facebook. Because first of all, Facebook already stresses me out as it is, especially with today's political climate. It drives you crazy. Everyone, it's like as soon as you become an adult, you have to share your opinion. And it's worse today because it's so much easier to get your opinion out there that people feel attacked. And if you have a different political opinion, then, it's like, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. Like, okay, you don't live together. You're not family. You're not blood relatives. These are just your friends. I mean, yeah, you might have family members on there, but it's not going to affect you if they don't have the same political opinion as you. And it's not going to change, just because they don't agree with your political opinion and voted for someone or something that you don't like, that you hate. It's not going to change anything just because that person doesn't. And again, that's another thing that I have strong feelings on, and how it drives me crazy that I feel like I can't, say who I voted for because I'm worried that people on here, granted, it shouldn't matter to me because, I'm not that close with these people. I'm only close with a handful of people on Facebook, so it really shouldn't matter, but I just, like, the fact that if I tell them, they'll be like, I'm not going to be your friend anymore, I'm going to unfriend you. They won't even tell you, they'll just unfriend you. And it's just, it just drives me crazy. And I don't want to have to deal with that. I'm on Facebook to socialize. I know it's important. I know these issues are important, but I'm on there to have fun, talk to my friends, talk about books, talk about other pop culture things. And even now in pop culture, like whether it's talking about books or something else, it can still get pretty heated. People can get really passionate and love to share their opinions, and that's the problem with the media, is opinions are an instant message away. So I just want to, lessen my time, because, the only reason now is, yes, I run some groups that I like that are about, my favorite shows, and I have a book group on there, so that's, even then, the one that I actually own is not that active, not as active as I would like it to be. Because when I do try to be more active with my posts and stuff, people don't ever respond in my group. And it kind of is like, I put in the effort, And I want this group to be active, but you guys aren't really helping by not responding. It just annoys me. But I am in another book. I am two other book groups. So and then because we moved to a new state, then all my three best friends, I am far away from all three of them now. So it's my way of connecting with them and communicating with them is via Facebook or texting. So, but I do want to lessen my time on Facebook. And instead of being on Facebook, I want to read a book. Make friends with book characters. And I also want to, and then the other one that's internet related is here actually. I want, as much as I love watching booktube videos, sometimes I will watch videos just to watch a video. Plus, I'm one of those people who does not like it when it's super quiet. Yes, I need quiet when I'm reading, but I don't like it. That's why I didn't like going to the library, because then, it's really, really quiet. I don't like that. Yes, I need it to be quiet when I'm reading a book, but I need some sort of noise, some kind of noise, especially, like, if I have the house to myself. Like, I'm fine with having the house to myself, like, when my parents go out of town on trips and stuff, but I don't, after a while, I need to have, like, the TV on or something. I don't like quiet. Or at least not, like, silence. Which, that's why I think Dead Silence is such a creepy horror film. But, so I need a little bit of noise. And that's why I end up turning on the TV, and then I get sidetracked by the TV. So I end up watching booktube videos all the way up until I need to get in bed. And sometimes, and no offense to anyone, I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, but sometimes I'm just watching the booktube videos just to watch it, and I'm not as interested. And like mostly some of them I'm watching because I just like I really like them as people, and they don't always like the books that I like. So sometimes they're talking about books that I have no interest in, but I just want to watch it just because, to watch on their video right before I go to bed. So I want to lessen my time and not watch as many booktube videos, like control that more. And I also want to like watch more smaller booktubers, because I feel like a hypocrite if I don't, because I am a tiny channel, because like I love you guys and I'm so glad that you guys are watching me, but I would like to grow as a channel, and I don't, and I feel like I should watch smaller booktube channels because I'm one of those smaller booktubers. So I want to lessen and spend more time in actually reading those books, so that, one day I might be able to read like 10, 20 books in a whole month. Because I am a slow reader, and that's one of the many problems, is I watch these booktubers who will read 10, 20 books in a whole month, and I'm like, how the heck do you do that? But I think I know the answer. I think it's because they read almost 24/7. I mean, they can't, granted, like me, they have jobs too. And, some of them are younger than me, so some of them are still in school, so they have homework and stuff. So yeah, I want to be able to one day be able to read them, but maybe that will never happen. I don't know. So, now that I've gotten those out of the way, I also want to read more. I still want to continue to read more of certain genres, like nonfiction, for instance. I want to read more of that. I read only a couple nonfiction. Well, I've only finished one nonfiction, which is a memoir by Julie Andrews. And I did start this month. This past month, I was going to participate in Nonfiction November, but that kind of fell through because I got a little sick. And I will be right back. I'm filming a video. Sorry about that. My dad just walked in, so I wanted to close the door and then let him know I was here, what I was doing. So I was saying I want to read more nonfiction, I did, like I said, I did participate in Nonfiction November, or I actually know I attempted to participate, but then I got sick, so that kind of fell through, and I just wasn't in the mood to read. I just wanted to do something just that was easy and simple, didn't require a lot of concentration, which was watching TV and even watching YouTube videos or BookTube, I should say. So I want to read that one. I want to read more horror, particularly. I want to continue reading more Stephen King, and I might do a video where I show what Stephen King books I have so far, the ones I've required, because I have quite a few since we moved here. And I want to continue reading more. Sorry. I want to continue reading more adult fantasy. Like, I've been reading Robin Hobb and Brandon Sanderson. I've been slowly working my way through those. I am a slow reader, so it's taken me a lot longer to get through those books. And again, I'm easily get distracted by TV or being on here. So I want to read more adult fantasy, and I also want to read more literary books. And I picked up, there's booktubers that I watch that are more into literary works. So I've been kind of going by their reading habits and the books that they read. So I recently bought Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which was a book that, which was a true crime novel that from a book Olive talked about. And the way she was talking about made me interested. Olive from Book Olive and Jen from Insert Literary Pun are so good at reviews and eloquently talking about the books that they're passionate about, that they love. And sometimes, not always, there's some books that they read that I just have no interest in. But the way they'll talk about these books, the way they'll review them, it gets my attention and gets me interested in these books. Hi, Rascal. So I bought that book, and normally I would not read that kind of book, but I'm going to check it out. And it was from the used bookstore, so it wasn't that expensive. And I got the paperback. The hardback books are actually really cheap. They're like $4 at the used bookstore. So I could easily, that's where now I've got more hardback books. But before, the only other time I would get a hardback book is as a Christmas gift. I might get a hardback book. But that's about it. Now that with the used bookstore in walking distance, I can get a hardback book more easily for like $4. But still more expensive than a paperback. So yeah, that's not that bad, but I mean, I'm still trying to be careful, although I'm not as careful as Hi, Rascal. I'm not as careful as I should be. So there are I want to read more literary books, and I think that's all of them. For the longest time I was focusing mostly on YA fantasy, so I want to expand it, continue to expand my collection of, literary, horror, and adult fantasy books. And then, let's see, what other goals do I have? Let me look at my notebook here. I really hope this video uploads, because it's getting pretty long, because you know me, I ramble all the time. Let me see. I also want to get better at reviews. Because I feel like I'm not as good at reviews as I should be. Oh, I remember another one I had. Like I mentioned, I love Olive from Book Olive and Jen from Insert Literary Pun, where their discussions and their book reviews and the way they talk about books. I want to get to that point in my reviewership. I don't want to be like, I really love this book. I love the writing style, and the write and and I love that the chapters were so short, and I want to be better at articulating, and which is funny that I'm not, because I mean, I am good. I love English as a subject. But I think one of the many parts of the problem is I don't always take notes, and sometimes when I'm reading books, especially really long books, I take breaks in between reading each part of the book, and then I forget stuff. But I've always been not very good at recalling certain details and stuff like that. So the other one I just remember. What was it? Let's see if I can remember. Now I forgot it again. So I talked about I want to read more of certain genres. I want to get better at reviews. Let's see. Maybe looking at this will help. Oh, that was my sister. Let's see. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, maybe. Oh, now I remember. I want to get better at reading books that I've neglected. There are books that I have borrowed from my sister and brother-in-law that I want to read, and that I haven't gotten to, especially like John Adams by David McCullough. The problem is that's a nonfiction book, and it can seem kind of dry at times. I'm interested in the subject matter, but it's going to take me a long time to read. And I also got The Kitchen God's Wife for my sister. And then I'm also currently reading Crazy Rich Asians, which I think my sister would like. So I want to give it to her to read. And then there's also books that my mom over the year has ordered for me online because it's a book I want to get and I can't find it at the bookstore. It's not at the used bookstore because, the thing about the used bookstore is it takes used books. All the books there at the store aren't used and they belong to somebody at one time. And this is a community where they're not going to read like Sarah J. Maas books or something. So I have to go to Books A Million, and sometimes in that Books A Million compared to the Books A Million back in Maryland or the Books A Million where my grandmother lives, it's kind of small. It's a good book. It's a good store, but it's kind of small, so it doesn't have a huge. It's a good selection, but it's not huge. So there's no guarantee that I will have all the books that I want. So sometimes, and often, and also the main reason why I'll have my mom order books for me online is because sometimes it's cheaper than going to the store. Especially because we have an Amazon Prime. We're an Amazon Prime member, so it's a little cheaper for us to order them online. So my mom will be like, "Have you even read the book I just bought you?" And so I feel kind of guilty. But then the other thing is there's also the books that I've had for a really long time that I haven't gotten to yet. Because I'm a booktuber. I'm a reader. We all have these kinds of problems. And like The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, I got that years ago. So I've been meaning to get to that one. I've had it for a long time, so I need to read that one. So I did start that one, by the way. So then there's that, but then my mom's voice in my head being like, okay, I just bought you a book, well, I haven't read that one yet. And then like I said, there are books that I borrowed from my sister. And it's just, so I want to be trying to be, and this kind of also goes with an organization thing as well, that I want to be better at reading the books I've neglected. And that's why I kind of had to stop using the library, which is also one of my goals, to not use the library as much. Or at least don't take like 10 books just because I can. Because of course with the library, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You just borrow them for a period of time and then return it. Although it isn't that if you're late with returning it, there is a little bit of a fee. So I was trying to make sure I return on time. And I ended up, because I have a 2-week period, and as I've said in previous videos, I think I have. Maybe I just think I have because I practice what I'm going to say in videos with myself. So maybe it was just my imagination, but I get excessively worried knowing that eventually I'm going to have to return the book. Even though, yes, I can renew the book, it just drives me crazy knowing that, okay, I have to get this book done. So I want to try to get at least one ideally 2 books done so I can return at least 2 of the books. I won't have a whole bunch of books to return when I finally do finish them. And then because I'm trying to get them done first, they become a priority, so all these books get neglected, or I'm a lot slower at reading these books. So that's also part of the goal, and one of my goals is that I'm going to use the library less and not, when I do get books, not get like 10 books from the library. So yes, I want. What was it? So like I said, I want to read more some of the books I've neglected over the years. Let me see if I have one more goal in here. I didn't include. Where's it? Let's see. No, here it is. I also want to do, of course, more rereads as well. Books. And I think, is that it? I think, yeah, I guess. Did I think? Or maybe not. I don't know. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. So those are all my goals. Hope I didn't bore you guys to tears with all my rambling about my goals. But if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like it, also, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate if you did. To all the people that already are subscribed to me, appreciate your viewership. And I hope, as always, that you are enjoying your reading. And feel free to share your goals in the comments section below. And I will talk to you all later. All right, bye.